Chapter 62. I'll never let you go, little Darlin. I've barely stepped through the front door when Miss Mary calls for me from the kitchen. I've taken a taxi from the airport, deciding at the last second that I wanted a few days visiting with Miss Mary, as I tell Topper, who understands. I rush in and hug her tight, greeting her like the mother she truly is. Darlin, let me get a good look at you, she says, eyes shining. You're turning into such a beautiful young woman. It startles me she's never commented on my looks before. With Miss Mary, the only thing that's ever mattered is cleanliness and being presentable. Everyone else in my life has made a fuss over beauty, but never her. I laugh, asking why now. Your looks are the least interesting thing about you, she says. About any young woman. Her brow furrows. I never wanted you caught up in all that. Thinking beauty was a shortcut to anything. I never wanted you believing you mattered because of it. I suppose that's a good thing, I say, hugging her again. It's wonderful to see you too, I add softly. I miss you up there. Without you. She smiles. My place is here. I've pleaded with her 100 times to come north with me, but she always says her job is here, to look after this house, and to be here for me when I'm here. It's the deal she signed up for. I don't push. I know, I say, and hand her an early Christmas present. For you, my wonderful Miss Mary. She sits while I make us coffee. She opens a little box, diamond earrings from Tiffany's, and thanks me, delighted in that southern way. I forgot to mention, with all the fuss, she says, suddenly remembering. The boy is here. She points upstairs with a little eye roll. He is what? I laugh. He's been up there all morning and afternoon, she says. I think he's sleeping. I heard him snoring a couple hours ago. He's had a rough morning, she adds, lowering her voice. Got word he's about to be formally drafted this week. Oh no, I say. They're going ahead with it. I sit, chin in hand. A small part of me thought they'd just let him be, let him keep going on with his life. I hoped they wouldn't get their hooks in him. Miss Mary pats my shoulder. I know, honey. Me too. We finish our coffee and sit a little longer before I head upstairs to see if I can breathe some life back into the sleeping beauty above. I knock on the door, my childhood bedroom, though he's spent more time in it than I ever did. No answer, but soft breathing. I slip inside. He's sprawled under the covers, clothes everywhere, drawers open, my things strewn about, records out, my old teenage diary lying open beside him. If it were anyone else, I'd feel violated. But it's him. He knows everything already. This room is as much his as mine. In a strange way, he belongs to this house as much as I do. He's woven into its fabric. His life breathes through the corridors and kitchen like anyone else who ever lived here. I sneak into the bathroom, shower, wash off the journey. When I look in the mirror, I see I really am changing, my face settling into young adulthood. I wink at my reflection and go crawl into bed next to my baby boy, who is sad today. He wakes as I climb in, blinking up at me. You're here, he exhales, voice rough with sleep. Lord, I didn't even know you were coming home for Christmas. It wasn't exactly planned, I say, slipping under the covers. I just thought, I need to go home. He stretches his arms toward me. I asked God to send you, he says. Or really, I told you to. I was in our room at that made-up boarding school in England. He laughs. That's so strange, I say, snuggling close. In my dream, we share a room too, little single beds with white sheets and tartan blankets, right by the window in that old Gothic school. He gives a low southern laugh. Ain't real life, is it? Even if we're both dreaming it, it's still just a dream. He hugs me tighter. We share a room in my dream too. Other day, while you were sleeping, I walked over and whispered in your ear to come home to me. A shiver runs through me. And here you are, he says, pleased, already half accustomed to the idea that we share this fantasy space. Here I am. I say, kissing him softly. You all right, baby? I ask. Miss Mary told me. He tucks his face into my hair. Yeah, I just got to get used to it. I knew it was coming, but it feels a whole lot more real now. He nudges me. I've missed you. Ditto, I say. We talk until Miss Mary calls us down for dinner, like the good old days at my white Memphis mansion, even though he has a house of his own now. At dinner, mouthful of bread, he gives me a look. Yeah, about that. You mind? Meaning, does he overstep by still coming here? I don't mind as long as Miss Mary doesn't mind, I say. Miss Mary takes his hand and tells him again that this house is as much his as anyone's. He knows it, but still beams hearing it. The next day, we visit Sam and Marion at Sun. On the way, he picks up his formal draft notice. His mood goes heavy, but he no longer acts it out like he used to when we were younger. Now he internalizes everything, which makes me feel even more tender toward him. I fuss, try to make him laugh, shower him with attention until he forgets the dread for a while. He pulls himself together, being kind and attentive to everyone. And I know how hard that is for him. It feels like a quiet sort of courage, him being mature beyond his years. That evening, he asks if I'll drive with him to Nashville to deliver the Colonel's Christmas present, a shiny red sports car. I tell him I don't think that old fart deserves it, which makes him chortle. The Colonel is delighted to see me, or pretends to be. He's all charm and backslaps, speaking to me directly with a smile instead of past me with a frown. It's disconcerting. I tell the boy later, who just laughs and says I'm no longer a threat now that I'm marrying Topper and have let go of him. The comment makes me sad and a little angry, but I swallow it. We're invited to the Grand Ole Opry with Gordon Stoker from the Jordanaires. Since we haven't packed anything proper, we head into Nashville to shop for a tux and gown. It's a whirlwind, almost like old times. There's a feeling of freedom, as if we're on the open road again, even though it's December and real life is waiting for us back in Memphis. For a moment, we put all that aside and have an honestly good time. With no press around, he introduces me to everyone and anyone. We talk, we laugh, slip back into that old rhythm with ease before heading home, to everything waiting for us. We stay behind after the venue empties out. The janitor says he'll stick around to lock up. We wander out onto the empty stage, just the two of us. The janitor is somewhere backstage. I sit at the piano, he sits beside me. We sing, we play, we laugh. It's a private concert for ghosts and memory. I play Old Shep for him on the guitar, and we both shed a tear. It was the first song he ever sang to me. 13 years old, school days, all the innocence still intact. Then he takes over. Plays Trying to Get to You, then I'll Never Let You Go, Little Darlin'. And for a minute we're children again, singing into an empty auditorium. When we finally wander backstage, the janitor is asleep in a chair. The boy signs a stack of autographs for him and his family, then suddenly gets an idea. Because the man stayed late for us, out of kindness, the boy changes back into his traveling clothes and hands him the tux he bought that day. Here you go, he says. Might get some use out of it yet? He looks at me, then at the man, who's laughing, scratching his head, asking if the boy is serious. The boy asks if the janitor's got a girl. When he says yes, the boy tells me to get changed too, to hand over my dress if she'll fit it. I do, and it's all gee shucks and what an honor to meet you, sir. Then we're off again, whizzing out of Nashville as fast as we came in. The mood has lifted, the winter sun is out, and it feels like a sign. I fall asleep on his shoulder as he drives. He keeps one arm around me, humming quietly, keeping himself awake and me safe all the way back to Memphis. When he drops me off at my house, he asks if I can stay for Christmas and New Year's, which he knows I can't. He tries again, tells me he's hired out the Rainbow Rollerdrome, and insists it'll be fun. I shake my head, kiss him, and say I have to get back to New York before then. He says I don't have to go, that he'll marry me if I stay and make an honest woman out of me. We laugh. I tell him I know he'd promise anything to get his way, and it's awfully kind of him, but I can't marry him. But none of it really matters, because we belong together, in dreams, in reality, and in all the spaces between. Whatever the world thinks, this will always be our truth. He drives off, promising to pick me up again after we've both slept and he's spent time with his parents, and maybe Anita. Then he winks, speeds down the drive, and disappears around the corner. Before I fly back to New York to spend Christmas with Topper, I have the dealership deliver the boy's birthday present to Mr. P, who promises to keep it hidden until the 8th of January. It's a motorcycle, the one he has been eyeing for some time. It's easy enough these days. The boy is busy, out gallivanting with Anita and the boys, and I don't mind. I actually like Anita. She's lovely, and she's good for him. He seems happy with her. Her devotion is sweet, funny, and new. He likes that she's fresh and spunky and still a good girl. I like it too, because more than anything, I just want him happy, whether it has anything to do with me or not. I visit with Mrs. P and his grandmother, Dodger, whose room is upstairs, down the hall from the boys, which always makes me want to sleep at my own house instead of his. Still, it's nice to see them. Mr. P comes in and drinks coffee with us in the parlor, which Mrs. P is proud of. But really, she is proudest of her son and terrified for him, though she'll never say it aloud. She's afraid for his life when she should probably be more afraid for her own. I sometimes wonder what he'll do the day his parents are gone, and it sends a chill through me. I know it'll break him. So today I stay present, properly present. I praise her son in a way I know lands exactly where she needs it, right in that place where her pride and fear live side by side. On my final day in Memphis, we exchange Christmas gifts and sit quietly downstairs by the fire. We put on sad songs and then watch an affair to remember in the screening room, because of Carrie, not because we were trying to torture ourselves. We sit and weep through the whole thing, like two old biddies with regrets. Neither of us has the energy to put up any kind of front. The weight of everything coming, adulthood, responsibility, the army, New York, the boy's parents, Topper, the wedding, the future, presses in on us, and there's nothing to soften it. It breaks my heart to abandon him now, because usually we find humor somewhere, something small and light to carry us until next time. But this time we're too raw, too honest, too close to the edge of something we can't name. I leave him in my bed the next morning. Miss Mary drives me to the airport while he's still asleep at my house, before he goes downstairs and has breakfast with her one last time for years to come. Chapter 63, Fairytale of New York. "Birdie, honey," Mrs. Montgomery calls. "Come here," she says, slipping an arm around my shoulder. "What do you think of this seating?" The countdown to the wedding is on, and Mrs. Montgomery has taken over completely. Topper and I are fine with it. Neither of us is particularly invested in wedding planning, and she's a legendary host who's never thrown anything less than a perfectly tasteful event. This is her element. Why not let her revel in it? "You're too wonderful." I squeeze her hand, silently grateful for every decision she makes without consulting me. She's so startled by my lack of bridal micromanagement that I can feel her appreciation for me growing with each day of the holiday season. "I have to admit," she says, "you're the easiest and most pleasant daughter-in-law I've ever come across. I'm the envy of all mothers in my circle. She thanks me for letting her do all the work I have no interest in, and I know there is a God." I laugh every time Topper meets my eye in recognition of this quiet win. "You have her eating out of the palm of your hand," he whispers, "and she thinks it's the other way around." "It's too good," I say, kissing him as we walk over to Beekman Place to visit Tilly and Buddy. "There's a christening coming up for our new goddaughter, and we've come to meet her." "Come look at this thing I made," Buddy calls as we enter the apartment. Tilly's down the hall with the baby. We pass the drawing room, the dining room, the library, and the den, into the breakfast room off the kitchen. "Let me see her," I say. And there she is, the most gorgeous little girl you've ever seen. Isn't she something? Tilly beams. "She's beautiful," Topper says, walking over to Buddy. "Can I offer you anything?" Buddy asks. I've set up a little something in the library if you're peckish. I help Tilly to her feet, and the nursemaid comes to take the baby. How are you? I ask as we link arms, heading to the library. I'm okay, she says. She's an easy baby. I'm grateful. I'm pleased for you. I squeeze her arm, and we settle into easy chairs with refreshments. Have you chosen a name? Topper asks. Yes, Buddy says, glancing at Tilly. Margot Cabot Channing, she says, matter of fact. Wonderful, Topper and I echo. A beautiful name, I add. I hope she'll be beautiful, Tilly says, looking out the window. Beautiful and charming. It'll make her life easier, especially if she's burdened with my intelligence. Buddy laughs. Yes, something to take the edge off all that nuisance intellect. His voice is fond. She already is perfect. He gets up and returns with the freshly printed invitations. Mr. and Mrs. William Cabot Channing request the pleasure of your company at the baptism of their daughter Margot Cabot Channing on Saturday, the 8th of February, 1958, at 11 o'clock in the Morning Grace Church Broadway at 10th Street. New York City luncheon to follow at the Harvard Club, 27 West 44th Street. You can take yours now that you're here, Buddy says. Why not? Tilly adds, as Buddy slips our invitation into an envelope, writes delivered by hand in the top front corner, and hands it to me. We spend a few hours at Beekman Place talking about the baby, our upcoming wedding, and Mrs. Montgomery's enthusiastic takeover. Later, we return to the Montgomerys, and Mr. Montgomery makes us aware that we don't have a real home of our own yet. There's the cottage in Newport, Topper's cabin in Maine, my house in Palm Springs, and of course, my home, the Memphis mansion, which Topper has visited less than a handful of times and shows little interest in. Over dinner with his parents, we discuss settling down. Topper says New York will always be home, but he's spending so much time in D.C. working for Senator Kennedy that maybe, if I don't mind, we should look for a house in Georgetown. Sure, honey, whatever you think is best, I say, squeezing his hand. But something tightens in my chest. Georgetown? That staid, conservative place? I push the feeling aside, remind myself we're partners, that we always talk things through. Mrs. Montgomery smiles. Mr. Montgomery watches his son, clearly wondering if Topper might one day become President of the United States. Many think he could. He has everything: intelligence, integrity, calm. My mind spirals again. I didn't sign up for this. I'm marrying the man, not this, not the potential. A wave of dizziness passes, but I hide it well. Mrs. Montgomery tells me I'd make the perfect first lady, proper breeding, universal appeal. I smile, feel my sweaty palms, agree, and toss off witty remarks as the conversation rolls on. We talk about Sputnik. The Eisenhower administration was caught sleeping, Mr. Montgomery says. About the Civil Rights Act, signed just as summer ended. I'm proud to have been part of it, Topper says. We talk about Kennedy. His profiles in Courage won the Pulitzer this year. Maybe he's the next president, they speculate. Maybe he's paving the way for Topper. Mrs. Montgomery is appalled by the culture. Have you seen this Pollock? I tell her I think he's extraordinary. She disapproves, but with a smile. There's a generational shift, she says. I'm getting old. We talk about on the road. Topper finds it exciting. Mr. Montgomery surprises us by agreeing. You can't stop progress, he says. Yes, Mrs. Montgomery adds. New York is becoming more sophisticated. We're taking over Paris, she smiles. That, at least, pleases her. And I sit there, smiling too, but panicked. I've barely left college. Everything is changing so fast, and I can't find myself in any of it. I think of the boy, spending Christmas in Memphis, and how strange it is that he feels permanent, even as his life explodes across the globe. I smile again, thankfully, it reads as joy. No one notices my anxiety. I say thank you as my glass is refilled. Adorable, I say. Marvelous, yes to everything. But I don't mean it, not really. I telephone the boy from my bedroom on his birthday. The Montgomerys are all out, so I'm alone with the staff, who are busy in the kitchen and the formal rooms. I pick up the phone, dial 0, and wait. Operator, comes the clipped voice. Long distance, please. Memphis, Tennessee, person to person to the Presley residence. The number is 901-398, 4882. A pause. Clicking. The sense of cables and exchanges stretching across the whole country. One moment while I connect you. Thank you, I say. Then suddenly, his voice. Happy birthday, baby boy, I say, my voice brightening the instant he picks up. Lord, I've been waiting by this phone for the last hour, he admits. Finally, he laughs. Didn't want to call you at your in-laws' house, you know. I smile down the line and tell him that was wise. We both laugh, but it doesn't last long. Thank you for the birthday present, he says, softer now. My pleasure. He tells me he's already been out riding it. This morning? I ask. He sighs. Nah. I was so down they let me have it yesterday. I smile to myself. I miss you, I say, my voice catching unexpectedly. I'm sorry I can't be there to celebrate you turning 23. I start to cry, suddenly, uncontrollably. He's surprised but gentle. Oh, baby, don't do that. It's all right. Everything's going to be fine, he soothes, though we both know it's not true. Nobody knows what's coming. We're both in over our heads. Our lives are changing too fast. We weren't built for this sort of thing, even if the world insists we were. We take turns trying to comfort each other until the fog lifts a little and the sun comes through. He tells me he's got to have his photograph taken with the March of Dimes girl downstairs. She's 8 and waiting for him. You should have told me half an hour ago. I scold. It's not fair to make a little girl wait. I'm disappointed in you. He goes quiet, thoughtful. You reckon all this fame's gone to my head? I pause. Of course it has. But today, I'm gentle. What do you think? I ask. A long pause. I think maybe a little. So maybe now's the time to change all that, I say softly. Get back on track, be that best, most wonderful version of yourself I know and love. He thinks, then laughs. Nah, I don't reckon I wanna. Then, out of nowhere, you think you'll still love me when I'm old and gray? I laugh. I can't really picture it. Loving me into old age? He teases. No, I mean I can't picture you old and gray. He chuckles. I add, more quietly. But to answer your question properly, I can't imagine ever stopping loving you. Ditto, he says. Then, I heard once that the age you fall in love, the person you love at that age, that's how you'll always remember 'em. That kind of makes sense, I say. So I'll be in love with 13-year-old Birdie till the day I die. He laughs. You're disgusting, I tell him. But I'm smiling. I'm not in love with 13-year-old you. It's your spirit I adore. I'm just after your looks anyway. Your legs, your ass, and a little bit your sense of humor. I laugh. You're pushing it, mister. Why are you so cheeky today? He shrugs. Don't really know. I tell him he'd better get going and see the folks waiting downstairs. His tone drifts. I'll do what I please. Ain't none of your business anyway. I'm too stunned to be offended. I just laugh. Well then, I'd better go and leave you to it. There's a pause. He regrets it instantly. I'm sorry, he says quietly. Don't know what's wrong with me today. I sure am thankful for the motorbike and for you calling me. I soften. Are you all right? He asks suddenly. I sort of am, I say truthfully. I sort of am too, he echoes. Then, hold on a minute. The sound of fumbling. Papers? A chair shifting? You in your office upstairs? I ask. Then, without warning, he starts singing Young and Beautiful. I try to stay silent as I cry without a sound, wiping tears on the bedsheet, thinking how impossible everything feels, even though, by any external measure, we're among the luckiest people alive. And yet it makes no difference. Nothing feels secure. Everything feels like it's slipping through our fingers. When he finishes, neither of us speaks. We both know we'll need to sit alone for a while after this call, gathering ourselves before going about the rest of our day.